All right, everybody. Welcome to a brand new episode of Tacos en Europa. I am Jorge.
My name is Edgar.
And before we get started, we will remind you one more time that this is the only podcast that talks about all the European players, all the Mexican European players in two languages, English and Spanish. We also talk about every single one, not like the mainstream media. We don't just focus on the good ones or the popular ones. We focus on every single. That sounds hard.
We have a lot of news on the sucky one.
A lot of bad ones too. Nah, okay, but we don't stick to just the popular ones. We like to every single one, so that when it's time for them to get to the national team, you guys are able to know who should be there and who should not be there. You know, you can follow us on all social media platforms: Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, Instagram, wherever you like prefer to receive your news. Make sure you follow us there, and you can listen to us on your favorite podcast platform and on YouTube. Just look up Tacos en Europa anywhere, and you can find us. What a week we got here. We got some insane games. We got some Champions League, some Europa League, some Conference League. It was a pretty interesting week, I think, man. But let's get started with Fulham in the Premier League, the best league in the world. Raúl Jimenez versus Chelsea in a 0-2 loss. Talk to me about Raúl Jimenez, man.
Well, he got 53 minutes, but I didn't even notice. He had like 10, 12 touches of the ball. And even though Fulham had the ball more than Chelsea, but it never reached the box.
Yeah.
You know, so it was. I don't even have anything else to say. It was invisible. Fulham had such a hard time getting the ball into the final third that it just never happened anything.
So yeah, usually when I'm watching these Fulham games, they're doing pretty bad. But usually, I at least kind of have that little that feeling where it's like, oh, we can do something. Like the Fulham can really surprise them. Yeah, like a little spark. I didn't see it in this one. I think Chelsea just had their first good game in the whole season, and just ran through Fulham, man.
Yeah, this is the beginning of their biggest streak in a year. 2 winning games in a row.
Yes. Yeah. What was it? 1 goal last month? All month?
Yeah, 1 goal in all of September. It was awful.
The highlight reel was like just 1 goal over and over and over. They also play against Sheffield United in a 3-1 victory, but the sad news about this one is no Raúl Jimenez here. The striker that went in front of him, Vinicius, Brazilian, actually played pretty well, man. Combined really well, had a couple key passes. He's looking nice.
Yeah, the thing is, the feeling I get in this is like you're gonna play against a stronger team. You put in Raúl, because he can hold up play, he can create, and if you want to attack, maybe you put in Vinicius.
The thing is that if your team, I mean, it's Sheffield United also, so I'm gonna relax a little bit. But still, it's like you put in a different striker, and now the people around him scored 3 goals. You know, that's something positive, man. Maybe, I don't know if you might want to move that if you're the coach. So we'll have to see how that goes. West Ham with Edson Alvarez versus Freiburg first in the Europa League. We have a 2-1 win here, very big win for the Europa League competition. He does play the 90 minutes, and he covers his space pretty well. But tell me how you saw Edson Alvarez in this European competition.
It was a very quiet game from him. He didn't feel as an, what's the word, like
a bull,
as an essential part of the system. Like, you're playing against a very different team. Freiburg is something else than you're used to. So it was a pretty boring game. That's the thing. That's what I'll say. And Edson didn't even have defensive actions. You know, he just was covering the space and just letting the rest of the team move the ball around. But he didn't play bad. He just was quiet the whole game.
Yeah, he did get a yellow card though. So
I mean, you have to.
Inevitable. And then they also play against Newcastle United, which was the more exciting game of the two.
Yes.
By far. 2-2 tie, man. 2-2 tie that actually happened today. He plays 90 minutes, and I think he plays an amazing game, man. It was one of those games where you just didn't know who was gonna take it.
Even though sadly he ended up giving the assist to the second goal from Newcastle. First or second, I don't remember, but it was from Isaac. It was a set piece, and the guy in front of Edson jumped to get the ball, but didn't reach it, and Edson stopped looking at the ball because he was being covered by the other guy that jumped in front of him, and then the ball hit him in the head, and it just fell into the legs of Isaac and scored. But as it bounced off of Edson, he wasn't in offside, but he was, and Edson was not in control of the ball. So was it offside or was it not?
I don't know. We'll have to...
That's kind of like, it's a gray area.
Yeah, it counted at the end of the day. So that's what
Yeah.
really goes there. They are actually in 7th place with 14 points, 1 point above Newcastle. So it's one of those games that you have to win if you want to end up in another European competition in the next season. So I think it was a good result. I want a tie, 2-2 tie.
Especially, it's against a Champions League team.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is I think they're doing fine, but they had like a run of really strong competition. You know, like they played against Arsenal,
Man
City, and,
now Newcastle.
Chelsea. That was easier, obviously, and now Newcastle, and he did great. He had like 5 out of 8 duels, 1 shot on goal that he could have scored, 1 out of 5 long passes. He did pretty well, and he really helps the team in being the physical one. You know, Newcastle is very physical, very intense, and Edson was like stepping up to fight them in it.
Good result for West Ham in both games right now. But let's head over to Spain, starting with Real Betis, as always, with Andres Guardado. 2 games, and he plays in both, which is, again, I never thought I was going to see him in 2 games in 1 week, but here we go. He plays in the Europa League, and the 67th minute comes in, and it was a pretty decent game. Nothing much to do here. And let me tell you something about that group, man. That group is all tied with 3 points in 2 match days.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough at the end of the day. Yeah.
And, you know, Betis is like coming off a little struggle, so hopefully they're able to come out of that group at the very least. Now, he also plays against Alaves in a 1-1 tie, comes in the 76th. You have anything to say about Andres Guardado?
It's the same. He enters the game at the end and just helps out in just holding onto the ball and defending. He tries his long passes. Every duel he has, he tends to win it because he's very like particular about which duels he take. He doesn't overcommit to the defense. So he's really smart in his old age now. You know, like
after all,
yeah, that's the thing. He doesn't want to be out of space in his defense. He can run, so he knows.
Yeah,
and he does well. I like watching Guardado. You know, it makes me happy. He's doing so good, so well, so like long into his career.
Yeah, I mean, you always want your players to find a home, you know, and it feels like he found his, and there's no reason to leave. So a really good spot he's in. Now, Las Palmas with Julian Araujo was an interesting week for them. The first one against Celta Vigo, we got some bad news here. Julian Araujo comes off with an injury in the 32nd. Not much to do before those 32 minutes, but they do win this game 2-1. The next game is against Villarreal, so we see no Julian Araujo again because of the injury. But we have another 2-1 win here. So now Villarreal gets their 2 back-to-back.
And not only are those 2 wins, but Villarreal is an Europa League team. You know, like and Villarreal usually can fight to go to Champions League.
Yeah.
And they're doing fantastic than Las Palmas beating this kind of team.
Yeah, and it's like we were talking about with West Ham. There's certain games that you just can't lose. You either get a tie, if you can get a win, you get a win, great, but at least go for the tie. These guys got the win against a Villarreal I keep saying it, but as a recently promoted team, that is huge for them. And they still remain the 2nd place for the best defense, or tied for 2nd place, the best defense in Spain. And they are right now 10th in the table for La Liga.
Yes, that's fantastic for them.
This is huge, man. Again, very proud to see Julian Araujo in a team like this. Hopefully come back stronger to help them out and keep that 2nd place, maybe move up to 1st place in the best defense. Who knows, man? Cesar Montes, Athletic Club, back to the sadness.
Yeah.
No minutes for him on the bench, man. But tell him why that might not be such a bad thing.
Well, they play against Athletic Club. I'm talking about European level teams, and they get their asses kicked by Athletic Club. And the 2 center backs look like shit. So, you know, like maybe he was spared that, and this is the last game of this coach.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there was this rumor going around about the Chivas guy going to Athletic Pauno.
Yeah.
And it seems it will not happen, but someone else is going to take its place. Maybe Montes gets a coach that works better for him. Hopefully.
Yeah, I mean that whole defense needs to be revamped a little bit. So hopefully they get a good coach that's gonna help them out with that.
Yes, someone that can play with three center backs because they don't have the rest of the system to defend with only two.
I gotta check, but they might be the worst defense compared to Las Palmas. But I gotta check their stats. But
compared to anyone.
That's why the worst defense in the league in general. But I gotta double check that one. Our youngsters in Spain again, it's looking a little rough for them. As we have Esteban Lozano playing in the youth league, but nothing from, I forgot his name, from Johan Carrillo at the moment.
That's how long
That's how long it's been. That's how long it's been.
Yeah.
We go back to Italy in Serie A with Genoa, Johan Vasquez versus Milan in a 1-0 defeat. I'm going to say an unfair 0-1 defeat because Johan plays 90 minutes, probably one of the best 90 minutes in the season for him. And they get this 1-0 loss from a very, very controversial goal from none other than Christian Pulisic, the USMNT player, who controls the ball, what seems to be with his hand. And I think the argument was that it hit his arm, like the sleeve first. But I feel like the way he keeps it next to him is with his forearm. He
cradles it. Yeah.
Like, if it would have been like this, it would have kept going that way. But he kind of kept it a little bit with his forearm. So I think that's unfair handling of the ball. Obviously, that's me. I'm seeing it also with glasses of like Mexican too. So it could be.
Yeah, I was shouting at the ref. It was a handball. It was just so obviously a handball.
It's just I can see the argument, but it's just the reason why the ball stayed in place is because he controlled it with a forearm.
Yeah.
So it's just weird. It's a weird decision.
And even ignoring that, the center, the pass that was going Pulisic towards Pulisic, Johan tried to clear it with a header, and he didn't reach it. So you could see him like flopping like a fish jumping out of the water and never reaching it. And then Pulisic scored this like a really nice shot, actually, like a 180 shot, turning and holding it with the ball, with the hand, obviously, but still a nice shot. And I mean, it became just pure drama. The keeper from Milan, Magnan, I think it is. Just gave like a Mortal Kombat finisher to one of Genoa's attackers, like a knee to the head. How the hell did he jump so high? Like it was a finisher, absolutely finisher.
Terrible. And then he went for more.
then he got another two guys, and then he got a red card, and then what's the name of the striker? Giroud had to put on the shirt because there were no more subs for them, and then they got a red card for the keeper from Genoa. So it was a party.
It was a mess. And if I'm being honest with you, before that, the game was already wild. It was insane. You have Genoa really holding their ground and also arriving to Milan's area to try to score. So it was good both ways.
The first half was all Genoa. They should have scored at least once. They were playing really well the first half. Now in the second half, that's when Pulisic and Leao come in because they were resting them because they play Champions.
And that's the thing. They had a lot of the bench on the first half. That's why it was so good for Genoa. And then, which I was like saying, like, oh, they're gonna regret it. They're gonna regret it. They're gonna regret it. They couldn't put away their chances, and then all the stuff happens in the second half. Obviously, the red cards. It added even more drama to an already great game. So it was just so many emotions everywhere, man. Giroud ends up saving the ball, being a hero as a goalkeeper, and it was just probably one of the best games of the week, of the month, maybe.
We're going to argue about this at the end.
Talk about that.
I don't think so.
We should have stayed until the end, guys, to talk about that. Memo and Monza, we have a 3-0 loss. He stops about 4-5 shots on this one. But, like, how much longer can we blame the defense?
I mean, obviously a lot. You don't get scored tries with a good defense, But I'm still against Monza. But he still, he stops like 5 or 6 other shots on target. And he does look a little bit weaker as a keeper than other games. He has been in bad form lately, but still the defense is not helping. It's a little bit of both. It's sad that's against Monza. They're in the relegation zone. But I mean, we it's the same every week. Like the defense is very shitty. Memo is not in good form, so it's every week the same things we're saying.
Yeah, we might have to switch it up next week. I got a question for you, but I'll save it for next week to spice it up because we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Going over to the Netherlands, ENG Feyenoord, Eredivisie, Santi Jimenez first versus Atletico Madrid in the Champions League, the most beautiful competition on this earth. But he doesn't play because he has a red card, so he'll play next game.
Even though Santi didn't play, it was a really good game for Feyenoord, even though they lost 3-1, 3-2. But the other game that I couldn't see because it was like 2 a.m. here in my city, but it was a really good game for Santi as well.
He ends up with a brace and one of them with a literally like an auto pass to himself. It was 2 amazing goals. One of them was also like a little chilena type of thing. It wasn't really, but it was like a little mini
a scissor. It was
like a scissor. Man, like this guy's 12 goals in the season right now. He's the leading scorer of the Eredivisie and he's only up there by 2, so the guy's coming for him. And also it's interesting, on the goals and assists table you have Luke de Jong also, who's like 2 right below him in goals and assists. So
yeah, it's a really good season for the strikers.
I would love to see him maybe getting a little more creative with his teammates when it comes to that.
It's a very important game for Feyenoord because, for Santi especially, because both goals weren't assisted by a dominant team.
Yeah,
those were 2 chances he basically created himself, and that's what we've been asking for him, because with the national team sometimes there's nothing anyone is going to give him, so he has to get it himself, and it's good to see that he can. And the first goal, the one that was a scissor kick, it was like a Van Persie special. That's the one the striker coach they have.
Yeah, and I think it's great too, just to pause here a little bit before we go to the next one. I think it's great to be able to see that every time we have a Mexican window, right, a Mexican FIFA window, it's like, oh, Santi needs to do this. He goes back and he does literally what we keep asking for him to do, and he just perfects it. So it's like, okay, what are we gonna
watching?
Yeah, it's like, what are we gonna like complain about him on the next window right now because it's Germany? So we'll see, man. It's looking pretty good. He just looked going up, trending in the right direction. So hopefully he can get even better as the time goes, man. Talking about PSV, Chucky Lozano first in the Champions League. He does not start either of these games actually, but starting here, plays 71 minutes, and I think he does pretty well to help out with the team. In my opinion, I would have put Chucky and Bakayoko just to get that intense speed against this old Sevilla team who's averaging 31.7 years. But either way, Noah Lang did a great job. He had a great game. I just think the move was just to get that speed on the wings.
Noah Lang is fast as well. The thing is, they should have tried to get the experience to fight again in a Champions League game. I'm not liking what the choices Bosch is taking with Chucky. I think he's playing really well, and he's not putting him in as a starter. I don't know why.
Yeah, the thing is, though, talking about that for the next match against Sparta Rotterdam, he comes in the 32nd because of a Noah Lang injury. And
sadly, he was just called up to the national team. He might miss it. That's really
that's what they were talking about there. Like he might be able to miss his call up. Noah Lang, not Chucky. But then Chucky actually comes in and does everything but loses national team spot, because he is involved in 3 of the 4 goals for PSV. One of them with a pre-assist, one of them with a Mexican assist, as we call it, where you just pass the ball and it comes into like an amazing golazo for no reason. And the last one, the third one, he actually provoked the penalty. For Luke de Jong to score. So he was all over the place, man. I think even after that, he was sending in these crosses that he always is able to send in. The only thing is that I think he should have played a little more in team, and there was times where he could have maybe passed for the assist, but wanted to go for the glory and for the goal.
Yeah, that's the thing. As soon as his team is two goals in the lead, he tries to now I get mine. He said.
Yeah. It's my turn.
Still, I thought it was really interesting how much he was creating from the left.
Yeah.
He wasn't just like zoning into the goal. He was really crossing and creating space. I think he's going to get there to become like the focal point, but both the coach and the team are resisting him a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I feel
it feels a little unnatural when he's out there.
Yeah.
Like the chemistry doesn't feel like just like natural. It feels something like forced, but maybe it's something I have to work on for a little while. Going
Still,
over
they're
to,
unbeaten on the league, so
they're
we
still
can
doing
keep up
great.
like
They're still doing
yeah,
even with that midfield, man. With that midfield, they're
yeah,
doing great.
even with that midfield.
Now over in Belgium, the Pro League, KRC gang Gerardo Arteaga. They play in the Conference League with a 2-0 victory, so a very good win, but nothing from Arteaga. During the league, though, they do play against Ghent with a T, and they tie 1-1. Sadly, they haven't won a game in the league. Arteaga does pretty decent job, actually, for this one. Like, it was a good performance to go into the national team. He does good in the attack with 2 key passes, 2 out of 3 crosses, and 3 out of 5 long balls. The only thing is he only ends up with like 3 defensive actions and 3 out of 7 duels. And the goal that they score on them is from his side. He fails to get there in time. And
So the same as always.
the same
Good
as
in the
always.
front, bad in the back.
Well, lately he hasn't been good on either side. So right now it's like at least we could use that. You know what I mean? Maybe he'll get across to Santi against like Ghana or Germany. I'll take that, man. I'll take that. Rubalcaba still starting in his team for the Standard Liège subdivisions. Going over to Porto, Jorge Sanchez, he only comes in the game today against Portimonense for 10 minutes just to kind of hold out a league after they receive a red card.
Yeah.
Now, in Greece, AEK Athens, we have 3 games, but the 2 main ones that we want to talk about are the one for the Europa League against Ajax, man. What an amazing game. 3 key passes from Orbelin Pineda, 2 out of 2 long balls, 8 out of 11 duels, and 7 defensive actions, man. I thought AEK was going to win the game. Like, I didn't think Ajax was going to score first. I think that was a complete surprise because this AEK was just playing so well and was just dominating the whole situation.
Yeah, they're being really good, even though they're not like in the top 2 in the league yet. But Athens seems to be like improving, and the best recently proof that they've been improving is the next game this week. That's against Panathinaikos in the league.
Yeah.
And Orbelin Pineda is just like a fantastic eight all game. He never steps into the box. He creates everything. He got like 10 out of 11 long passes, a lot of defensive actions, a lot of dribbles. He does a lot in the midfield. Like a pure eight, which he plays every position with Athens, but still is great to see.
But also Rodolfo Pizarro, man, he was 6 out of 8 duels, 3 out of 4 dribbles, man. Like he also like made his own in that last game today against Panathinaikos.
Yeah, he was really good playing as a winger that stepped inside and really created as a screener, like that Karl Malone pick and roll kind of
the basketball
role.
player.
What?
The basketball player?
Yeah. Just reflecting the ball, like doing a little bit of what Luke de Jong is doing with PSV, just like back behind the goal and just trying to create spaces for the rest of the players. And he was
being the
really
extra
good.
player, like not the focal point of the play, but like the extra player in the play. Yeah.
And even the first game, we didn't talk about the one against Crete. I think it's called. He was a starter and he did okay, even though he didn't get minutes in the Europa League game against Ajax.
Yeah. So he had 2 pretty good games, missing the third one against Ajax, but still great performance from him and Orbelin Pineda, both of them doing great in Greece. Just to touch up on Luis Chavez a little bit, he's doing great in Russia as well. He averages like key pass and a half per game. It's like he's doing really good over there, offensively and defensively. Not to get too much into it, I want to talk a little bit more about him after the FIFA window, so we'll get there and give you guys a little update on him. Other than that, come on, man, tell me the player of the match week. Who is it this week? Got some contenders, man, but who you got?
I will say we only have 2 contenders. It's either Santi with the brace or Orbelin with these 2 really good games as a midfielder, as a proper midfielder that didn't step into the box. That's the 2 ways, and I think
you don't
Santi
put Johan
was better.
with Milan.
You
don't put him in the honorable mentions.
Not even. I mean, he was the fault of the goals. He could have stopped, even though it was a handball. He could have stopped it. So
I would put him in the honorable mentions because it was a good 90 total minutes, but maybe 3rd place out of the 3. 3rd place.
Yeah, that's fair.
And Orbelin again great, but yeah, you can't go against Santi Jimenez once again. with a doblete,
Yeah.
with a brace, man. It's insane. Both of them great goals too. Nothing too easy, nothing too lame. Amazing goals from him. What was easy? But what was your favorite game to watch this week? What was the game of the week?
No, I mean, in general, it was, both keepers got red carded and kicked out of the game. Like, Giroud stopping a shot on goal. It was amazing.
Yeah. Everything too, like the back and forth between both teams. Genoa playing amazingly. You know, the subs coming in from Milan and like making it a real game right after. It was an amazing showdown. I want to say an honorable mention. Atletico Feyenoord Champions League game was super entertaining. A lot of close games. You know, I could mention more. I could mention that Las Palmas Villarreal game, which I love watching. Las Palmas. I will say it every stream. I will say it on every episode, man. Even when Julian Barajo wasn't playing, I really enjoyed thoroughly watching this team.
Yeah. Also, Ajax versus Athens. It was
Ajax
really
Athens. Yeah, that was an amazing game too. Yeah, like I'm telling you, I thought AEK, and that was an amazing game on the side of AEK because they just had a master class altogether, man.
Yes.
They deserved to get the win. I cannot believe they didn't get the win.
Yes, it was a really good week of like good games to watch.
Yeah, like entertaining football in general.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's
amazing week. But all right, man, go ahead and tell me the extra stuff that you found for the week. What else you got to talk about before we send it off?
Well, the Bull Tours are like circling Santi in Feyenoord. You know, like the Athletic just published an article about him. They're starting to talk about in Spain. And he was like, he has been mentioned in Chiringuito. You know, like they're starting
that's
to
how you
notice
made it,
him.
man.
Yeah, that's how you made it. The guys from Barcelona and the guys from Real Madrid and talking about him. Yeah, he's starting to attract that kind of attention. This is for certain his last season. I hope he doesn't move in the window, in the winter window.
Oh yeah, no. I hope he finishes out. Like just finish out, get him another title. Like give that thank you to Slot. Also, I think it's a lot about respect. Also,
yes,
you know, finish out this, and then you get to go into a team from the beginning of the season. You know, you're not there in the middle. You do wrong, it starts going back.
You get a full preseason. You know,
exactly.
we always talk about how important that is for a player, especially a player that changes teams. That's really important.
Both for himself and out of respect for the rest of the team and the coach. I think the best move will be at the end of the season, not in the winter. What else you got, bro?
We also get Lainez keeps on playing really well in Tigres. I'm really happy for him. Kind of sad even that he didn't get a call up to the national team. We have already made a video about it, but the call up for the national team, if you guys didn't watch it, I suggest you do. We talk about how good it was. There was no like deadwood around, just good players and old keepers, but everything else was great. And Chivas is a soap opera, like a full-on soap opera. I'm waiting for Pauno to get like an evil twin or something. Like it's getting really.
It was me all along. Hey, but it looks like Pauno's gonna win it's gonna beat the novela and really turn his team around if he's able to do it right, man.
He's staying, so that's good for them. I hope they really back him up. You know, like
how often does the coach win in these situations, man?
I mean, never.
And right now he deserves to win too because he's the one that's bringing the results, not the players.
I mean,
like the players that he's fighting with.
Okay, that's another thing. And finally, just like talking about Liga MX this a little bit because we're so far away from the transfer market. Chino Huerta from Pumas is the second highest scorer on the league. That's kind of great because we are always missing
who's the first
goal scorers in Mexico. What?
Who's the first?
I think it's Bruneta or Preciado, one of the Santos players, one of the two good Santos players.
Yeah, man. Will we have another Mexican goleador this season?
Hopefully. I mean, Santos is pretty bad, so maybe.
Hey, hopefully, man. I know he's got a couple penalties in his belt, but I think he got one on the field last game too.
Yeah. He's been. To be fair, he is the one who shoots the penalties, but he's also the one who gets them. So it's fair.
Well, all right, man. That's some great stuff that you found this week, man. But we will see you guys next week. This week and wrap it up. Some more great games to come in the next episode. We have the next FIFA window, the October window. Mexico versus Ghana and Mexico versus Germany. Do not miss the next episode, guys. We have a lot to talk about. We'll do an episode per game to make sure we can talk about it in detail.
Yes.
So be sure to listen and see what it is that this team may need, man. And also let us know what your opinions are. Who played good, who played bad, who deserves to be on the national team, and who doesn't. That's what this is all about. So be sure to listen on the next episode of Tacos en Europa. I am Jorge.
My name is Edgar. Comment below. Was it a handball or was it not from Pulisic? Because I say it was.
Pulisic ball, a handball or not? Let us know, people. Let us know. See you guys next week.